Hey guys, what is up? This is Friendly Neighborhood Boost here. I'm going to do an impression video of the 6.82 changes after the first day of it being out. I've played a couple games, I've watched a lot more, and in my honest opinion, I think that this change, both for the experience and gold, is overall bad, and I'll explain why that is. So, if you don't understand what this basically means, and I know in my analysis or first impressions, when the patch notes came out, I didn't really talk about this because it was a lot of jargon and I hadn't looked at the numbers because it's really hard to understand until you see it. But now I've seen it, so I understand. So essentially what this does is it acts as a catch-up mechanic because, for example, this here is very similar to this. It's still, as you can see, 20, 15, 7, 5, 4, all times victim level. And, I mean, this is the same thing almost. Once you get 3, 4, and 5, it changes slightly. It's better now than it was before. It's a bigger multiplier. And then the base here is replaced with this, the XP factor times a value. And what the XP factor is basically if your team is ahead on XP, the XP difference will equate to 0, right? Because this will equal 0. Well, I guess technically, if it's even, it will be 0. If you're ahead, it will be this will be a negative number, so it will directly impact. It'll have the reverse impact, right? So it will decrease this number, right? This number will go down. It'll basically be minus, right? So if you're ahead, then this is the max you're getting for XP. But if you are behind, you get the XP factor times, right? And so if your team is behind 5,000 experience, the XP factor ends up being like pretty big, depending on the victim you're killing, of course, because their XP goes into it. So essentially what this creates is a rubber banding effect. If you don't know, most racing games, I'm not sure how new ones are, but I know for sure older racing games have some amount of rubber banding. There are some standout examples that do not have that, but that's, oh well. But racing games have a rubber band effect, and what that means is if you're in first place, the other racers will go faster, and this is mostly for computers. Computers will rubber band, players will not. And so what that essentially does is that when you're playing single player in the racing game, like the campaign, and you've lapped them, they will move significantly faster to keep the race close, like a superficial close, not a real kind of a close, right? Because nobody would actually have been able to catch up there. They just move faster inherently to make it seem closer, okay? That's how rubber banding essentially works, and it adds this to Dota. And it's the same thing, by the way. Sorry, I didn't go over that. It's basically the same thing with gold. It's just, different numbers because gold and experience are two different things, but basically the same idea. So the way I see it is that it would essentially be like playing Mario Kart, right? Obviously, the biggest thing is, blue shell, right? But there's only 2 teams, so like, it would be like just racing against one other person, right? But let's, if it's just 2 people racing, no blue shells, it would be as if in Mario Kart, you're going, right? First place gets half a lap ahead, and then second place just gets faster because the other guy is ahead. Obviously, in Dota, you still have to get a kill for this to impact it. But imagine playing Mario Kart with your friend, and then your friend suddenly just moves faster all of a sudden because you got ahead of him. Now, it might be fun for him because, it's actually a close race now. However, it's incredibly punishing for you, the player who's ahead. And it's very, very bad because it doesn't matter how skilled you are, how much better than the other guy you are, they can just rubber band, right? They can even potentially snap to get in front of you, right? And then sure, the tables are turned and the same thing can happen in reverse, and that causes incredibly swingy games, which means that it's very hard to actually control the outcome of the game. And honestly, that's a really bad thing for Dota, because the way it worked in previous versions, right? This right here is understandable, right? If you are high level and you die, the enemy team gets a lot of experience, right? It discourages you dying when you have a high level. Now, what this does is it takes that and then kicks you in the nuts while you're down because it adds this entire other factor, right? That's based on your team. So what happens, right, is that, and it's even more seen in the net worth, right? Because the old way was just gold, right? Like your net worth had no impact. But now your net worth is a factor. The victim net worth and the net worth difference are factors. So this means that if you were steamrolling the enemy team, not only are you going to give up the spree gold, which albeit is reduced this patch, you're going to give up the spree gold. So let's just say maximum 800 spree gold, right? And then you're going to give up the gold that you would before, essentially, right? So let's like one assist is flat number plus 7 times victim level, higher flat number plus 12 times victim level. But then you have the net worth factor times 0.5. So you're still giving up this chunk, right? Which is, you know, lower. Sure, it's definitely lower. However, the net worth factor takes into account your team's net worth as well as your own net worth. So if you're steamrolling, you're on a godlike streak, and you have 10k net worth higher than second place, they're going to get a ridiculous amount of gold. Not like a good job, you killed the carry, like the steamrolling guy. You killed him kind of good, like ridiculously high. You get oh, now you just won the game, congratulations, kind of high amount of gold. You become more of a liability to your team than a benefit, right? You don't get rewarded for going, you know, mega high spree. In fact, you get discouraged from doing that. Not only because of the amount of gold that the enemy team gets, but also because of the fact that when you kill somebody, their net worth is taken into account, right? So now you're killing a dude who has, like, you know, no net worth, you're not really getting gold, right? If he has 5k net worth, then you're getting way less than if they kill you. If you literally kill 5 enemy heroes when you're 10k net worth above the second place, you will get less gold than if they kill just you. That's the issue, right? You could probably kill them 10 times and they'd still get less gold, right? It's absolutely absurd. You get strictly discouraged for playing well and rewarded for playing badly up until a point and then doing one good thing, right? It's like, I mean, it's like Mario Kart, right? It's like bumping into a wall. Like, I mean, it basically does break down that it's the blue shell effect, right? Like, in Mario Kart, you bump against a wall for the entire first lap, you get lapped, you get a blue shell, now you catch up a lot, right? And the guy who had a perfect lap 1 now just gets his face slammed into the dirt, right? It didn't matter what you did. It doesn't make you better, but you can easily win because of that. And sure, you can make arguments for Dota in the past wasn't skill-based or whatever, but now it is significantly less skill-based, right? It becomes even harder for the guys who are better, but easier for the guys who are worse. Because if you're better, you build an early game advantage, you're not getting much out of doing well now. Like, now you're getting kills and stuff, but the bounty's less. And then also, you have to worry about you dying being so substantial that the enemy team can literally smoke and just, you know, start a 5-on-5 fight even if they're losing substantially, just kill you as the carry, and they will come out net positive on both experience and gold. I know that, most people are like, that's probably an edge case. I don't think that's pretty consistent. That's super consistent, at the very least for Pub Dota. Pro Dota is going to be different. It probably has less impact, but Pub Dota is just awful right now. It is the worst thing ever, because all you have to do to win Pub Dota is be losing for the first 30 minutes, identify which hero, like the best player, which hero on the enemy team is being played by the best player, smoke up, and gank him. And then you won. Right? That's all you have to do. All you have to do is convince your 4 teammates to kill that one guy, and then you won the game. Because not only is that person dead, so you don't have to deal with their best player, but you just got hugely rewarded both in gold and experience. Like, the biggest example that happened to me so far playing was I killed there was an anti-mage, right, who, first of all, we were winning the entire early game, like super hard winning, and then the anti-mage killed me once, and I was playing a core. What hero was I? I actually don't remember. But yeah, the anti-mage killed me once, right? It was a solo kill, and then the next team fight, he had 2 more items. He finished a heart and a butterfly for the next fight. Right? Now, whatever. Okay, that's not the big part, right? Then the anti-mage starts snowballing, getting higher and higher net worth, and then we kill the anti-mage collectively as 5. I got 3 levels, and it wasn't 2,000 gold. It got me up to 2,000. It was probably in the range of like 1,500 gold, just from being around him, right? And then there was the spree gold added on, which was about 600. So, I don't know. The fact that when 5 people are around somebody who dies, right, and one of the people gets 3 levels out of it, like, that is a problem. That can't be correct. Like, it's not a balanced system. All it does is create incredibly artificially back and forth games. It doesn't actually promote back and forth games. All it does is artificially creates back and forth scenarios, meaning the games, even though there's more games that are back and forth compared to previous versions, they're less exciting because it's expected, right? So not only does it make it less enjoyable to be the winning team, because you just get so punished for making mistakes, but it also, the spectators, like, it's not interesting, right? It's never interesting at this point, because you see, oh, that team has a 5k gold advantage. One team fight breaks out. Even if the losing team loses the team fight, if they pick off the high priority heroes, they will probably decrease the difference, right? They'll decrease the advantage that the advantaged team has. They'll make a dent in it, even if they lose the team fight, and that's a really, really bad thing. I think the only way to fix this is to these numbers, these multipliers on the net worth factor have to go down. Absolutely have to go down. There's no other way around it, I'm pretty sure. Because it's way too much, right? It's just way too much. And then the biggest issue is the fact that, like, these numbers, right? Like, 3 heroes, 0.75 is essentially what it breaks down to, right? The net worth factors being multiplied by 0.75. This is 0.8. And then 5 heroes is 0.75 again. So basically the ideal, if you want to increase, like, your team's net worth overall, the ideal number of heroes surrounding the guy will be 4. That's just also incredibly unintuitive, right? Because look at this. These last 2 formulas are the same, except for the 0.15 times 5 versus 0.2 times 4. This one's worse, right? Because, I don't know. Whatever. I think it's stupid. I really do think this is unnecessary. I understand the intention was to create more interesting games and ruin Deathball, basically. And I think without this change, Deathball is ruined. And it already makes games more enjoyable to watch. But then this change is basically, icing on the shitty cake. But anyway, this turned into more of a rant, so I apologize for that. But honestly, these numbers have to go down. Like, absolutely, they have to go down. It's way too swingy right now. But anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I mean, if you want to, like, throw your opinion in the comment section, I read all the comments, so whatever. You know, if you want to add to the discussion, feel free. If not, whatever. Thanks for watching.